Hello and welcome to the final day of the draft. So this is my final reactions, I guess, to the picks. Overall, I'd say we had a pretty good draft. The key is getting the front part of the draft right, and I'm going to assume Veach got the back end of the draft right too. Not as much excitement in the back end. I liked a couple of the picks. Some of them I'm not very familiar with, so I'll have to acclimate and see how they're doing. Obviously, Brett knows what he's doing with the draft. I'm excited to see them when they get to rookie mini camps and see what kind of shape they're all in. Quite a bit of offensive line, so I'll talk through that. But getting Xavier Worthy and Kingsley Suamatea in the first two rounds was ultimately more than what we could hope for. So um, I'm happy with how the draft went. I think it's looking good. I think we have a few more additions we're gonna have to make, such as running back. Um, you know, we'll see. I'll talk a little bit about with these picks, what that means to some of our veterans on the team, and maybe future outlook. Yeah, let's dig in. All right, so after months and months of speculation, we got Xavier Worthy, wide receiver out of Texas, first pick Thursday night. I think that was a pretty exciting pick, at least. It seems to have definitely hit a nerve with a lot of the NFL, which is always nice to see as a Chiefs fan. There's a lot of great wide receivers in this draft as a whole. I mean, you've seen Brendan Rice come off in the seventh round. It's kind of crazy. I wasn't as high on Brendan Rice as others, but um, seventh round is pretty crazy for his talent and what he accomplished last year. I think 12 touchdowns. So I mean, that's just the nature of the draft. You never really know. But yeah, Xavier Worthy's going to be a great player for us. He gives us a different dynamic than what we've had. He'll stretch the field, but then we'll also have Hollywood Brown with the route running. He'll be able to learn some route running from Hollywood while he's here. Um, and he also gives us a dynamic of the punt returner, kick returner we also could use. So he's double edged in what he can really bring to the Chiefs. He's a hard worker. He really loves football, and I'm excited to have him on the Chiefs. He was my third ranked wide receiver going into the draft for what the Chiefs' needs were. A real speed guy or slash just traditional X. So I think Xavier can fill that role potentially down the stretch. I think he wants to be more. He models his game off of Deshaun Jackson, and that was the way Deshaun Jackson was used in Philadelphia under Andy Reid. So it's definitely possible that will be the case in the future. And I think it's going to open up a lot of passing lanes for the remaining, receivers when Rice is fully back and Hollywood, if he stays fully healthy. I mean, this is going to be a pretty solid. Not maybe the best wide receiving crew that he's ever had under him, but definitely up there for Patrick. So excited about that. And we needed to get left tackle taken care of, and I think Kingsley Suamatea is someone that can really come in and contribute in year one and give Wanye a run for his money, at least for left tackle starting position, if not win that position outright. He's a really strong guy, very athletic. Once he gets coached, he gets some good coaching. He works really hard through training camp. Who knows? He could end up winning the job out, and he'll only get better from this year on. So this will be the worst year of his career, hopefully. So I'm really excited about that pick. He's not quite as refined as you'd like to get, but at the 63rd pick, I mean, that's an outstanding value. On my average from the big boards I was looking at, he had an average ranking on the big boards of 40.3. So getting him at 63, that's great for a tackle. Then it was a long stretch without picks between 63 to 131st. Right before that pick, I feel like the Chiefs may have been looking at running back. I think I was about to get my guy, but the 49ers and Chiefs probably were both working the trade lines, trying to move up, make sure they got their running back, and 49ers ended up selecting Isaac Guerendo out of Louisville. So Chiefs ended up choosing not to fill the running back room. They went with Jared Wiley, tight end out of TCU, which I was actually it did improve my mood a little bit because I'm a big fan of Jared Wiley. I've been able to watch him play for the last, it feels like 3 years, but it said 2. I'm a huge TCU fan. Went to go see him play in the national championship game. I used to be a season ticket holder. I've got to see him play quite a bit, and he is an excellent blocker. His whatever you're going to read about his receiving is probably not giving him enough credit. He's a very talented receiving tight end as well. On that national championship team, he was one of our most reliable weapons. He's from Texas. He used to play quarterback. I'm saying he originally went to the University of Texas, transferred over to TCU. He's a great tight end, and we're lucky to get him. And then have him learn under Travis is going to be special. I kind of want to temper expectations. Everybody wants to say he's going to be just like Travis because he played quarterback and he may be similar height and some similarities there, but Travis is just a truly special athlete with a drive and a passion for football that you just can't just look at it kind of like you can't look at Caleb Williams and see him run around and do crazy things and say, oh, that's Patrick Mahomes. There's something wired in the brain that makes these people who they are, and there's no attribute you can see on a stat sheet that's going to really tell you that they're going to be the same. So, but Jared Wiley, I can tell you firsthand without having to scout him. I've seen him in person live many times. He is a great tight end, so got a good one there. So I'm happy to have more depth in the tight end room, somebody more long term. Then going to Jaden Hicks, this was an absolute steal, and it was something I kind of I paused at first when I saw it because I did not actually scout safeties at all. I really thought our safety room is completely set. Obviously, I knew we needed a cornerback, but I think that Jaden Hicks can come in, and he seems like a Spags guy, similar to Chamari Connor was last year. Picked up in a similar time frame, probably separated by like 8 picks or something. I don't know. I didn't go back and look when Chamari was picked. I think it was the 4th round though. So a guy who can play safety, corner, slot. He can kind of move all around the field, and I think that's what we'll see. And then that's how Legarius kind of made his mark on the Chiefs too. So Spags really likes those guys. Reed likes them, and he was one of the highest rated defensive backs on the board at one point in the draft. So I think we got a heck of a steal at 133rd there. Hunter Norzad, he's a center out of Penn State, but he actually played tackle, guard. He played all over the place. Sounds like he's open to moving to wherever he can. To help the team, and that really what we're trying to go for is depth there. I've seen a lot of people concerned about because obviously he's a fan favorite, but Creed Humphrey choosing 159th pick center is not the same thing as when we took Creed Humphrey. Creed Humphrey's a beast, and as I think many of you have heard Cole from How About Them Chiefs talk about, I think he was the 15th, if in a redraft of that draft class, he's the 15th average pick. So you're not just replacing Creed with a 5th round pick. So I think it just gives us a little bit more stability along the line where people can be moved around if necessary. And then Kamal Haddon, he's a taller receiver or taller cornerback. I think 6'1", could be wrong. Just looked him up pretty quickly. I wasn't familiar with him. He wasn't one of the cornerbacks I was targeting. But he's out of Tennessee, which I thought was kind of ironic since we're trying to, find somebody who can step in for the role that Snead is leaving behind. Obviously, no rookie's going to be able to do what Snead did, but watched some highlights of him, and he's a playmaker, and he can also lay a hit. So I liked what I saw from him. He looks like a Spagnuolo kind of guy. So obviously they know what they want. They know what they're going after. And then C.J. Hansen, it's not like a guarantee that we won't take anything is going to happen like just because we're stacking the offensive line that we're going to be losing other offensive linemen. This is just providing us additional depth for this year, and we'll address next year as it comes on. I will say the only thing along the contracts that are up after this year, I think there's a good chance we could potentially see an extension for Nick Bolton. Sorry, my son's in the background if you can hear this. But Nick Bolton, we didn't get any linebackers. This was a weak linebacker class. I don't think next year they're really going to want to be starting over at middle linebacker, even with Drew Tranquil on the squad. And obviously he's a favorite of Spagnuolo. So now there's no guarantee Spags will be back next year. He wants to be a head coach too. So there's always a lot of unknowns from that. I think people can overreact with drafts. So we're not getting rid of Creed. It doesn't mean we're getting rid of Trey. Doesn't mean we will cut Joe Tooney. Joe Tooney does have a really high price tag on him, and we do have a little bit of an out next year if we want to save some cap room or restructure him or something along those lines. But I mean, you do need to have as we learned in 2021, you just want to have as solid of an offensive line group as you can, and that's what they worked on the back end of this draft. I think we're poised in a good position. I'd like to see us bring in Jet McKinnon because we need a running back that can pass protect and also be a weapon. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a running back that wasn't drafted like Dylan Johnson out of Washington come in because he's one of the best pass protectors in the entire draft. The problem with him was that he was not particularly an excellent running back. So I think if we brought him in on certain downs, I think teams will know that he's not really in play for running, and we're going to be passing the ball. So there's still a role for that, but more of that talk to come. We got way too many months now in between the draft and training camp and then preseason and everything to debate all this stuff and have long conversations. But overall, I'd give the Chiefs a B on this draft. I think we nailed the front end of it. The back end of it was a little less exciting. Jaden Hicks was a pretty good pickup for value, and then Jared Wiley's a good tight end. I'm not as sure on the final three picks, but all in all, pretty good.